everyone! So in today's video I'm going to be recommending a few of my favorite manga books that I've read recently. These four books that I've chosen, these four titles are all comedy. They're very entertaining, they're very funny. When I was looking for these four books in particular, I figured that I thought that these would be four books that you guys would be interested in checking out. So the first one is a book, a manga book that's recently gotten an animated adaptation. I thought it would be fitting to show you guys this book just because the first episode of the animation came out, and not only is the story really good, but with the animation having been released recently, I figured that it's fitting to kind of talk about it right now. So this one is called SpyxFamily, and it's about a master spy who is known to be as the greatest spy within his division. He works missions to kind of better the world and make sure that everyone is safe. And with this, comes the idea that to be a spy as good as he is, you have to just focus on your job solely. And so, he does his work. He's kind of like alone. He's given a mission to infiltrate an elite school of kids, right? And so for this mission, he has to kind of adopt this image of having a family and having a perfect family so that he can kind of get into the school, infiltrate it, and also kind of get the information that he needs to get. And so to do this, he has to find someone who's willing to work to be his fake wife, and someone who's willing to kind of work to pretend to be his daughter. And so the first volume kind of covers that. It's him trying to complete the first part of the mission and procuring the family, the ideal family, so that he can get into the school and complete the rest of his mission. So far, this book has 7 volumes released. It's not completed yet. I think it's 13 volumes in total, but right now 7 volumes are out. And so far, I've enjoyed whatever I've been reading. It's a really, really funny, entertaining book. It's like full of comedy. It has its moments where it's serious, but for the most part, it's just kind of funny because you get to kind of see the perspective of the main guy, the spy, and then the woman who's his wife, who turns out to be an assassin, and then the adopted daughter that he chooses ends up results in having like the power of telepathy. And so it's entertaining to kind of see how this all plays out, because not only is his wife an assassin who's pretending to be his wife for her own safety and for her own sake, but then you have the young daughter who not only can read minds, but like knows the fact that he's a spy and her mom is an assassin. Meanwhile, both of them don't know the 3 of them don't know the truth about each other somehow. And so it's just really entertaining to see where the story goes while he's completing his mission. I recommend SpyxFamily. I also recommend you guys to check it out on Crunchyroll if you guys haven't if you guys want to watch the animation itself. SpyxFamily is definitely one of my top picks for recommending others to read. So the next book is not only funny, but I feel like as a K-pop stan, it's like you kind of relate to the character. So the second book is called Starcrossed, and so it's about a young girl who follows an idol group, and she has her bias, her favorite idol. She attends their concert, and so there's an accident with the stage light, and to prevent her idol from being hurt, she rushes onto the stage, pushes him out of the way, but somehow that accident ends up involving them switching like bodies, like their spirits switch bodies. And so the story kind of follows her and him as they have to deal with the body switching, the random body switching. I guess it's like the god is like trying to find out the solution for their problem, but in the meantime they have to kind of like deal with like switching bodies all of a sudden. And so she kind of ends up working as part of their group as like an assistant, I think. And so it's just funny and it's entertaining. And like I said, as a K-pop stan, this is like a good choice for manga to read, just because it's entertaining. And one of my coworkers recommended it to me because they knew that I was like into K-pop, and they thought it would be a funny story. And I think the author of this also wrote another manga that I'm going to recommend later on. It's really funny and it's cute because, you know, you kind of expect there to be like a romance between the two characters that kind of that will bloom. There's a lot of funny parts. Right now there are 4 volumes out. I definitely recommend you guys to check this out. So the next book is titled Life Lessons with Uramichi-san. So this book is about a group of adults who work as part of like a kids show. And you know, they're all adults, they're working in this kind of industry. And this is a comedy because there's the fact that they work as part of a kids show, you know, so they have to have like this personality, this happy-go attitude. But the reality is that as adults, I think they're all like around their 30s, they're all kind of depressed and they're all kind of not so happy with their lives. This book doesn't have like an exact plot that it's following like the other 2 I've mentioned. There's no exact like, oh, the character has to do this and that, or there's like this whole journey. It's just kind of random little short events that happened. And so it's not really a spoiler. But so let's see, in one of the parts of the book, a little girl asked one of the main character like why he isn't married or why he doesn't have kids, being 31 years old, right? And so he kind of gets into like this depressive rant. That page right there. So technically he's saying like, just because I spend every night alone watching late night shows that aren't funny while drinking cheap alcohol doesn't mean that I'm unhappy, you know? And so then he's like, sometimes making assumptions in your little head can get people killed. And the little girl's like, what are you talking about? You know, she's a little girl, she's not gonna understand that part of an adult's life. And so he's like, I don't know, I just don't know anything anymore. And so that was funny to me, just because it's like, he's out here ranting about his life, but then there's like this little kid who's just like, I'm just wondering why you're not married or why you don't have kids, you know? There's a little kid crying and he's like, oh, what happened? Did you fall down? That must have hurt. And he's like, then he does like a peekaboo kind of thing. He's like, what happened to Oni-san and his will to life? Where are they? And then he's like, gone. It was like, that's kind of like a random thing. It's not really like, I don't know. It's just kind of random. Like I said, this book is going to have a lot of random moments, but it's entertaining. At the end of the day, he still does his job. They all do their job and they all end up like still enjoying it, you know? This does have an animation. I believe it's on Funimation. It's Life Lessons. If you just search in Life Lessons, it'll pop up. But it's very funny. I forget how many episodes it has. But if you're looking for some like comedy, that one's a good one. It's depressing, but it's not like super depressing as like other type of books that really touch on that subject. It's humor. So the next book is kind of similar to that in the sense that it doesn't have an exact plot. So this one is just kind of like following a group of 4 guys who appear to come off as very cool, right? But the reality is that they're all kind of like, they all have their own quirks. They're all kind of dorky in a way. It's very short. It's super thin. So far there's 2 volumes. they're pretty funny. So in this book, the cool guys all come off as cool to others, but then there's like little moments that are like kind of quirky and kind of clumsy of them, and so they just have to like, they kind of like play it off, you know, but it still comes off as being cool to others. So it's just kind of funny that that they all kind of end up meeting is what happens. They all end up meeting, and they all kind of have this image of each other that are like, oh, this person is really cool, but the reality is that this person is not cool because of how they're clumsy or how they make a small mistake. I don't know, it's pretty straightforward. I don't know how to really explain this book just because it's not like super detailed in terms of like plot. You know, it's just random. Like here, this guy is like wearing mismatched socks, but the person who saw it says it's cool. And she says, oh, maybe that's like a fashion trend or like something like a trendy thing that like you're doing, that you're following. So it's like, it's fine, it doesn't matter. It's like a small mistake, but it comes off as being really stylish and very trendy. But yeah, that's just pretty much the whole synopsis of the story. It's pretty simple, funny, entertaining book, and it's very easy to like go through. It's not super thick like other books. These are 4 books that I recommend as of now. These are all comedy, so I feel like just like romance books, these are kind of easy to ease into if you want to get into manga, or if you just kind of want to read more but you don't want to read like full-on novels, you know. A lot of manga books get adaptations. Like I said, just like SpyxFamily, they just got the adaptation for the anime and it just came out. So also it's like you don't have to read them, but you can also watch them, which is another option. I'll see you guys on the next video, whatever it is. Maybe it'll be another manga recommendation. Yeah, for now this is my first manga recommendation video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching.